listening to Viral Podcasting, the place to go to learn how to generate a six-figure income or more from your podcast. To get the latest tips and information, go to viralpodcasting.com.
Welcome. This is your dose of daily market wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today is May 8th, 2020, and this is show number 30. We've reached a milestone, Nick, and hey, trades will go up, trades will go down, trades will go sideways, but one thing I guarantee you, you listen to this show, it's always going to be interesting.
Well, that's what we strive to do, Kerry, give people a little bit of insight about what's going on out there in the market, and sometimes we talk about some other things as well, but it is always interesting.
Yeah, so getting right into it, the job numbers, which is a fascinating story. Millions more people unemployed, but it looks like the trend is heading down, which means it's going to reverse shortly, just like coronavirus deaths and hospitalizations.
Well, I think that is the case. And right now, this market, this number from the Non-farm Payroll report was really factored in already. So when you think about it, everybody will go home tonight. They'll turn on the evening news. They'll hear how terrible the job number was. But again, the market is up across the board today. In fact, we have the Russell 2000, which I always tell the listeners to watch and follow because that represents small business in the United States. And that's up over 3% today, where the other major indexes are up about 1.5%. So very, very important to see that. You want to see the Russell start to take a leadership role. If that does happen, these markets got a lot more upside to go.
Yeah, and the beauty is that everybody out there, all the pundits are saying retracement, Fibonacci, it's going to go down. The trend is down. And I can understand why you might think that. But when we look at arcane theories of stock markets past, Dow theory is a perfect example where an intermediate term opposite trend takes it and can erase all the gains that were realized in the upswing. And everybody thinks it's the beginning of a bear market. They turn out to be wrong invariably.
Yeah, I mean, this is a humbling business. And I always tell people I could be dead wrong tomorrow. But as a trader, this is the one thing that we do is we are always flexible. And opinions, everybody has them. You know what they say about opinions. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is you just watch the charts and let them guide you. And I use a lot of other things as well. I do mathematical calculations. I do time frame analysis. There's a lot of things. I've been doing this so long that I've created a really powerful arsenal overall to determine where the market is going. And I don't put out a million trades. If somebody wants that, they're really looking to gamble. I don't really even want to deal with gamblers personally. I just want to deal with people that want consistent, steady, profits going forward. I just don't want to be involved in a gamble. I want to be in consistent, steady profits. And that's really why I always tell everybody this business is really a marathon. It is not a sprint. If you're looking for a sprint, all sprinters can go short distance, then they burn out. But marathon runners, they can stay the course. And in this business, that's what I try to do. And I do it by using and looking at the charts each and every day.
Yeah. So unemployment numbers is still awful. I think there are 30 million people unemployed, but most of them have been furloughed. Yes, there is a portion of companies that are going bankrupt, big ones, department stores like we talked about the other day, and smaller companies that will never again open their doors. But for the most part, the vast majority of these people are going to be going back to work sooner rather than later, aren't they?
It looks that way right now. I've been talking to several business owners, a lot of business owners where I live, and they're ramping up. And a lot of these restaurants that people don't think are going to pick up, they're already busy. So I mean, we're in Florida. Florida has this phase one opening. Barbershops have not been able to open yet, but at least in my county. But I am seeing the restaurants already. Now they have distancing. They're not full capacity because there's distancing, but they're busy and they still got a lot of carry out. So I spoke to one person yesterday. He said, "I can't believe how busy we are already," and that's a great sign.
Yeah, really good sign. And hey, tell you a little secret. I had a barber come to my house and cut my hair at the house. I couldn't look at myself anymore.
That's fantastic. I actually got a cut myself in my barber's backyard.
Good move. Good move. Yeah, it just gets to the point. Just like, this is ridiculous. There's no excuse for this. So the payroll numbers, I think you're right. The market's already discounted them. It's on to the next trend. Closed out some trades today successfully.
Yes, I got out of a couple of options. One was the Southwest Airlines trade, and I like that. I'm going to get back into that. But I closed that out for over, I believe, 23%. And I also got out of my SLV call option play for about 23% as well. And again, Southwest was only in that trade for 2 days, less than 2 days, really. And the SLV was about a week. So far they worked out. And also for my bullseye trading program, that's for my swing trading program, we took over 5% on SLV, and we're still holding a second half position for a much larger gain.
Yeah, you think so? You think SLV has still got some legs, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's a great pattern. That's what you want to look for. And again, it's all about the charts. It's never an easy business or to try to find and recognize these patterns, but they repeat over and over. And again, now with the SLV, I have the second half position. I let it run with the break-even stop. So I'm playing with the house's money, and I go for the bigger gain on the second half.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so let's just review, because we've been talking a lot about the travel airline industry. You said earnings are coming out on the hotels, I guess, shortly, next week.
They've actually, several of them have already reported, and you got a few more still scheduled to report. I believe Hyatt has already reported. That stock today is up $2.43. So that's having a really, really good day. Hilton, I believe, reported as well, and that stock is actually up today by just 35 cents. So I'll be watching all of these now. I like to wait about 3 days after the earnings, and then I like to get involved. But I'm looking at Hilton, I'm looking at Choice Hotels, and I'm also looking at Hyatt, and I might even add a couple of others to the mix. Marriott is definitely on my radar as well.
All right, cool. So that's good. And you said closed out Southwest, but you're going to be looking to get back in. Any other airlines that catch your attention there? Yeah,
so I closed out the Southwest option today just because it was such a quick gain. I was only in that for a little over a day. Got in on the 8th, out today, and got in on the 6th, out on the 8th. So today is the 8th. But I am looking at all of the airlines now. So they're all on my radar. It's just all about letting that pattern shift, and we'll see how they shape out. But so far today, really good action in the airline stocks. We'll see where they close, because it's not how they open, it's how they close. And we'll see what they get, but we'll see what we get there. But right now, so far, so good.
All right. And any other sectors we should be paying attention to?
Well, there are lots of sectors right now. Technology has been the leader. And when I say technology, I mean the big FANG stocks and the MAGA names, Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon. But another area that has been very, very strong has been the cloud stocks, the cloud computing stocks. So I wouldn't touch those at the moment because they're just a little bit too high on the charts for me. But this weekend, I'm going to go over a lot of different charts in that area that have not broken out. And I'll identify if there are any plays in there. Those stocks are still reporting lots of earnings. So that's why I kind of have avoided that area so far. But they've been big winners up to this point. But today we got some pullbacks in some of those names. And again, we'll let the charts tell us a little bit more what to do. But overall, that's one area now that has been very, very strong. So when I see that, if money comes out of there, I'll look for it to rotate into another area. And some retailers, as we talked about yesterday, they definitely are on my radar. All of the energy stocks are strong right now. So that's even on my radar today. And believe it or not, I'm even eyeing a couple casino names. So MGM has been really beaten up. I'm looking at that one real close right now. Stock's just up 35 cents. It's a $15 stock now. A friend of mine in the plastics business, he said that the casinos, the big casinos, have been calling him to get plexiglass. And what they're looking to do is actually, as a game player sits at the blackjack table, they'll have a plexiglass around them. So they'll be able to play games, and all these casinos are going to build plexiglass. They just can't get enough plexiglass to the casinos. So I might even look at some plexiglass companies this weekend.
I don't even know who makes plexiglass anymore. It's like some huge conglomerates, I guess. So putting up plexiglass barriers, etc. Well, what about the restaurant chains? Have they had their day and now they're going to fade, or what?
Yeah, well, I own McDonald's already. I love that chart on McDonald's. It's really a beautiful consolidation chart for the past month. I think this thing is going to go over $200. It's at $181 right now. I have owned Shake Shack in the past, have not owned it recently. That chart still looks very strong. Starbucks has looked really, really good. I owned this in the past, a few weeks back, and made great money there as well. So I like all the restaurant stocks to continue higher. I don't see any real issue or problem with them. I'm just waiting on some better patterns to enter a few others. But at this point in time, I mean, they've all had pretty good moves. Another stock is Darden Restaurants. That's the Olive Garden, and they have a bunch of other restaurants in their conglomerate there. But these charts are all pretty good right now.
All right, and it would make sense that they would be the first sector of the economy to bounce back, assuming the economy will. I can't believe that all of you out there want to just keep cooking food at home now and never go out to dinner again. But that's what the experts seem to be telling us.
Well, if everybody listens to the media, and I hate to bash the media, but honestly, it really is. It's just terrible reporting. So, go out, look at your local neighborhood stores, look at all of your restaurants in the local neighborhood, and you'll see what's going on. It doesn't take a whole lot to see.
Yeah, and I saw even like in front, the Panera right by my house, the tables and chairs are out there in front. Starbucks has opened up a bunch more places besides the drive-thrus. They're still doing curbside takeout service, but you can see that they're getting ready to open up again.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one other thing, Kerry. Last week I couldn't go away because my dog kennel wasn't open, so we couldn't board the dog. They're open this weekend. My wife and my family, we'll be traveling to a little beach resort this weekend. All
right. Well, the way to go. Got to do your part to start up the economy, and the disincentive that's in the unemployment package that they did, the stimulus, $600 a week on top of what you were making. That's going to run out June 30th, I believe, or July 31st. I don't remember which. It's for 14 weeks. And so once that's gone, then people are really going to be very motivated to get back to work.
Yeah, they're going to be eager to go back to work because right now they're making more money at home than they would be back at their job.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's what they had an argument about in the Senate. It's a big problem.
I mean, it really doesn't make much sense, honestly, but hopefully people will get back to work and, this economy will start to pick up again. It doesn't take a lot to start an engine.
Yep, that's for sure. And the traffic, I don't know if you've noticed, the traffic has markedly picked up.
Quadrupled.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids play baseball. They go to this hitting coach. It's about 6-7 miles away. And I can't believe how long it takes me to get there now. It's incredible. Traffic has picked up dramatically. That means people are back at the gas pump. And if these airlines get flying again, you'll start to see a more normal summer than what everybody was painting on the news with doom and gloom.
Hey, insurers, okay, they're basically have no exposure to COVID-19 because unless you specifically insured against a pandemic, every property casualty policy out there is basically excluded. They have exclusions to coverage. They say, we will cover you for everything in the world. And then the next line is except, and they got a whole line of things. But the insurance companies, pretty much, they're giving money back to auto insurers because nobody's driving, nobody's having accidents. Is this going to be a bump for the insurers here, besides health?
Well, It could be, but I've been watching the stocks very closely. I'm glad you brought that up too, because I've been watching the shares of all of the big insurance companies that I like to follow. Allstate's got a pretty decent pattern. Travelers, okay. Aflac is an okay, pretty decent little pattern. Progressive has been falling, and I think Prudential, not a terrible pattern. So they're okay. But this is going to be an opportunity for us to get into some of these stocks. I would have to think that the insurance companies would benefit, but again, they do a lot of investing in other areas,
Yes.
and usually bonds, and they're not getting anything on their bond portfolio.
Yeah, and their real estate holdings. They're huge real estate holders. You go to every city and you see the biggest buildings are owned by insurance companies. Problem is, a lot of their tenants aren't paying any rent. I think there's going to have to be some type of forgiveness, both on the mortgage end, the rental end, because who the heck wants 20 million evictions taking place in the U.S.? And that could happen because so many of you out there have not been able to make your rent.
It's a great point. It's a great point, and that's probably why those stocks do not look as sharp and crisp as one would think.
Yeah, for sure. So we looked at that sector. Any movement on the home builders, or are they still like tanking?
No, the home builders have actually held up really, really well. They've been moving higher. They're continuing to go higher. The home builders are strong right now. One would not think that would be the case, but one of the home builders that I like to follow very closely is Lennar. I mean, this stock bottomed out at $25 in March. It's now 53. So Toll Brothers is a high-end home builder. I mean, that
Yes.
bottomed out underneath $15, and now it's at 27. So, the home builders have been acting very, very well, and they all have more upside in the charts.
That's remarkable because that's totally counterintuitive because real estate, there hasn't been a real estate market for the past month and a half because you can't go into an occupied home to look. Nobody wants you in their house if they're living there, right? They don't
That's
want
right.
you going there. So it really seems like the market's dead, and yet not the case.
Yeah, yet the stocks are alive and well, and they really are looking strong on the chart. So, that's what I always tell everybody. You have to, there's an old saying we used to use in the late 90s. You have to anticipate the anticipators. And when you see these markets, you might hear the most dire news, but that's sometimes when you have to get into in these trades. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get into the home builders, as you've known. I've had very successful trades on your programs over the years, but
Sure.
this has been a very strong sector.
And that's just like, well, they're still building here. Evidently, that's vital infrastructure in Palm Beach County. Because around me, as long as they social distance, whatever that means in building, I have no idea. As long as they do that, they can keep building. And the neighborhood I'm in is still being, it's new, it's still being built up. And I've watched 3 houses go up, Nick, in the time from when the pandemic started, and a number of townhouses, roofs going on. You see the progress. And I'm like, don't these guys know there's a pandemic and they're not going to be able to sell these things? But I guess we're wrong.
Yeah, and I have to say, my wife, who loves to spend money, she just redid our kitchen, and so she called the contractor back and said, "Hey, can you come and do our pool bathroom? And we need a new shower in there. I want a new shower door." And he goes, "I am backlogged 3 months."
Really?
So a lot of home improvement going on. The other day, I couldn't get into a Lowe's parking lot. Took me about 15 minutes to find a parking spot. I mean, there's business activity. So, again, as this opens up, we're going to start to see even more action out there. People have been cooped up. They're ready to get out.
And one thing to note is Georgia opened up, I guess it's almost 2 weeks now, Nick. And they opened up like personal services like hair, massage, tattoos, whatever floats your boat. And all these dire predictions were made. They're sentencing all these people to death. And we haven't really seen much of anything happen.
Now, the media is waiting for some bad news to report, but they just can't find it yet. It's unbelievable.
It must be really frustrating. I feel bad for them. Not really. Not really. And And it will become the model. And we were also talking about the blue states where maybe they'd like to stay shut, authoritarian or whatever, but they're getting to a financial position where that's just not viable no matter what is going on.
Yeah, I watch some of this stuff. I read about it, and I look at some of these blue states. I'm not going to mention the names of them, but they're just committing financial suicide. And, sometimes when you look at what's going on inside these homes as people are cooped up, there's child abuse, there's spousal abuse, there's all sorts of drug and alcohol problems on the rise. I mean, in order to have a functioning country, a functioning world, people need to work. They need to go out. They need to spend. They need to do things that make them feel like they have a purpose in this world. And, what has been done here with the fear is just an absolute disgrace.
Yeah, and the irony is, I don't know how closely you follow the media stocks, but their businesses, as a result of triggering the panic response to the pandemic, they've effectively put themselves out of business because where do they get their revenues from? They get the revenues from advertisers. And who are advertisers? Capitalist companies that are trying to make a profit, but pulled all their advertising because why bother advertising when the economy is shut down? So they totally did themselves in.
Yeah, but that just serves them right for, I found this, and I've done, as a trader, what we really are, I always tell people that come to any of my courses, you're going to be an archaeologist of price. So we follow the money. And if you just follow the money, there's been a lot of dirty reporting going on. And, I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, a lot of fake news going on, especially about the economy and what's going to be in the future. Yeah, I think unemployment's going to stay up for quite a bit of time after this. But the initial rebound could be a lot faster than anybody ever envisioned here, Nick.
I mean, it already has been. If you just look at, where we were in the March lows, and there could always be something else that triggers it. We can never rule that stuff out. But we've had quite a rebound. I mean, you think about the S&P 500, which is what I like to follow because you're looking at 500 of the best companies. We were at 2,200 at the lows. We broke 2,200. Now here we are back at 2,900. So that's a good thing. And you have the NASDAQ actually positive now for the year. So yeah, that's pretty incredible as well. And again, I hope for society's sake that we can build upon this. Right now the charts look good. But if things change, we have to change with them as a trader. We're never just going one way. We're never just rooting one way. We are flexible. That's how you have to be in this, and that's a mindset you have to have in this business.
Yeah, could not agree with you more. And hey, I guess we'll leave it at that, and we'll see what Monday will bring. Like I said, this is our 30th show, Nick, and it's going real well. There's literally a couple thousand of you out there listening to the show, and hey, hopefully making some money off of these great recommendations because there's been a number of good ones. And hey, we'll see what happens next. Oh, BP. You were long BP options, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I still am. I still have those. And BP today is up 45 cents, just about a 1.9% increase. But pattern looks fine. I like a lot of these energy stocks right now. They're all pretty strong. The XLE, which is an Energy Select Spider Fund, that looks very strong. ExxonMobil looks good now. Chevron looks good now. Conoco has been very, very strong. Chart's still telling me higher to go. So even oil services names, which I've really avoided, that's up 5.5% today. The refinery names are all higher. Marathon is up 8% today. So yeah, I have BP and looking for more upside, and I have the option on that. So I'm looking to make 25 to 50% on that option.
Is it still a buy at this point, or has the stock moved too much?
Oh, I think it's a screaming buy at this point. I still think
BP,
it looks great.
Huh?
Yep. BP
and options or the stock?
I would own the options just because there's so much going on in the energy complex. I think it's just you take a smaller size cash layout and you buy the option, you can make a nice size percentage gain.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that. Anyway, questions or comments, just email me, kl@kerrylutz.com. We'll answer all. And check out Nick's Twitter feeds. He's got 2. at ITMS, as in the money stocks, and Nick Santiago 01, our Twitter feed at Kerry Lutz. Nick, we'll talk to you Monday.
Have a great weekend, Kerry.
You are listening to Viral Podcasting, the place to go to learn how to generate a six-figure income or more from your podcast. To get the latest tips and information, go to viralpodcasting.com.